Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are live after 5 a.m. and we're ready to program. Okay, so today we are working on sound decision. The app is called Sound Decision because this ball, right, which I turned into a Bengal tiger head, is going to bounce around the screen. And when it hits the wall, which is what do we call the wall? An edge. When it hits the edge of a canvas, it should bounce off. When it bounces, it should play a sound. Sound 1, sound 2, sound 3, 8 different sounds. Are you with me on that? Okay. So does everybody understand what we do before we go and try to do it? Because if you don't understand it, you're not going to get it to program it, right? Cannot program what you do not understand. So here we go. There's one thing here I forgot. Big thing right here in the middle, time. If we're going to do time, we got to go down to our sensors, and we have to add in a clock. Okay? Let's make sure we have clock 1. And what should we name it? I think I'm going to call it clock game time. Do you know what it's there for if I call it clock game time? What would it be there for? Time the game, right? So you get 60 seconds to play. When you hit 0, game over. Yes, ma'am. You got to figure it out. Set the sizes of the image. Can everybody look up here real quick? A clock. Time interval is 1,000. 1,000 what? 1,000 minutes? You think we're going to play this game for 1,000 minutes? I'm not even in. Are we in school 1,000 minutes today? 60 minutes in an hour. We're here. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So we're here for 7 hours, right? 7 times 6 is 42. There's only 420 minutes in this today, in school day. So yes, seriously. 60 times 7 is 420. So do you want to play for like 2 school days? That'd be a long time. 1,000 what? 1,000 milliseconds. Can everybody say milliseconds? Okay. There are how many milliseconds in 1 second? No. There are 1,000 milliseconds in 1 second. So this is set to run and tick every 1 second. If I do this, 500, it's set to tick twice in 1 second because 500 is 1/2 of 1,000. Are you with me? So 500 is half of 1,000. So this is going to tick twice. Let's cut it down to 100. This is going to tick 10 times in 1 second because 100 fits into 1,000 10 times. Are you with me on that? So this is going to go 1,001 10 times, 1,002 10 times. So if I was moving my person, my guy on my screen, my ball, it would move 10 times in 1 second. 1,001 moved 10 times. Yes. Okay. Now, if I do this, that's super duper fast, right? Now it's moving 100 times per second. Sure. I can show you. I can run the timer. I can show you that. Okay. So did you guys learn something about time and milliseconds and how it works? Okay, here we go, blocks. All right, let's go back to designer. Let's go to the very top here, away, time, and home. Do we need variables for that? Yes, we do. Okay, so let's go to our variables, and let's create an away score. And score is a number, so it's going to have to start and initialize with a blue, a number 0. It's from the blue math folder. Just go to your blue math folder and grab a 0 out. If it's a number, you have to initialize it to a 0. If it was a name, let's say you wanted to know who was playing, what's your name, then you would initialize it to a string, but we're not doing that, okay? All right, so then this is my game time. And game time is, once again, it's a number, give it a number. And this over here is my home score. Okay, once again, it's a number, so start it with a 0. Questions on how to create a variable? Who in here now knows how to create a variable? This is your second time doing that. We did it in Count Me In. This is over again. So we're re-hitting this concept. Okay, we good? You know how to create a variable. Rule of thumb, if you need to display it or know it, if you need to remember it, you need to create a variable. Okay? Thumbs up, you're good on that. All right. So, we're going to go down to our ball, image sprite ball, and I'm going to fling it. I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to swipe it, right? And that's going to start the ball in motion. You need something to start it. Now, if you start looking at what does a ball have, it just kind of tells you everything right there. Pull it open. Can you, Nora, can you put that magnet down so that it just slides over that thing? So yeah, it's a quick lock and a quick, so that all day long the door can stay locked, and then if there's ever an emergency, all you gotta do is pull that magnet down without even leaving the room. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So if you guys look up here, do you guys have the image spriteball.flung on your code? Do you see how it has, the ball has an XY coordinate? Okay. Do you see how it has a speed, a heading, an X velocity, and a Y velocity? If you wanted to speed the ball up, you could work with the X and Y velocity. The velocity is, you know, how much it's accelerating. All right. So when we fling the ball, we want to set its speed and set it heading. So you go back to the ball, and you're just going to go down here, and you want to set the ball's speed, and I want to set the ball heading. The speed, we can just get the speed right here. And the heading, we can get the heading right here. Okay? Now, when you fling your finger, you probably fling it in some direction. You could fling up, fling down, fling right, fling left. You could fling northwest, northeast, southeast, southwest. You with me? So it will register how you flung your finger, which direction you flung your finger, And this heading, do you guys remember talking about the edges last week? Okay, if I'm heading north, what is the edge number that I'm heading to? Yeah, everybody in here, by the way, thank you, Nora, for reminding me. Hello. Guys, if you're trying to code without your engineering design paper next to you, you're working harder, not smarter. You always, 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 always need to have your engineering design paper out. If I'm heading north, I'm heading to edge 1. If I'm heading southeast, what edge am I heading to? Southeast is 4. That's correct. If I'm heading northwest, which direction am I heading to? -4. That's correct. So do you guys remember you got north is 1, northeast is 2. Let me go back to my designer. North is 1, northeast is 2, east is 3, south east is 4, south is -1, southwest is -2, west is -3, and northwest is -4. You got to consult your paper on that. Look at your engineering design. We talked about that. How do I know we talked about that? Because it's on the board, right? Okay. And it should be on your engineering design paper. All right. You with me on that? Now, let's go ahead and run this app. And let's find out what happens. Okay, so when you run this app, the ball goes really slow, right? And it hits an edge and gets locked in a corner. Why is it getting locked in a corner? We never told it to do what? Most balls have the capability of rotating, and when you drop them on the floor, they're going to bounce. So our ball on our screen needs to bounce. All right, so now you just go down here and you go to image sprite, ball, and you're going to go, okay, when an edge is reached. Okay, everybody see that? When you reach an edge, what do you want to happen? Bounce, okay? So you go back to the ball and say, hey, ball, I want you to bounce. And bounce off of the edge. Whatever edge you're on, bounce it. And then, more than likely, your MIT probably has code in it that will do a random number generator and just do a random kind of a directional bounce. So it's going to just hit that one and kind of, I don't know their exact coding because we can't see it. It's encapsulated. But it will reach an edge and then bounce off the edge. What else should happen when we reach an edge? It should make a noise. When should it make a noise? Depended on which edge it reaches, right? So I got to do an if statement here. Okay? If. And we need, I know right now we need 8 of these. Why do I know I need 8 if statements? 8 edges, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got it. I know we have 8 edges, so I have to do 8 if statements. So here we go. If logic, if edge is equal to number 1, what am I going to do? Which sound should I play if I hit edge 1? Yep. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to play sound edge 1. Is that hard to do? No. And I'm just going to duplicate this all the way down. This is edge 2. Duplicate this one. This is sound edge 2. Duplicate this. This is edge 3. Is this hard to do? I don't think this is that hard. Do you? No. If you understand your screen, you know you have these edges. When you hit this edge, you play the appropriate sound. What? You go down to your edge. Your edge is a sound. Remember SND edge 1, sound? You're telling it to play that sound. Did you see it? Okay. This is going to be a -1. Green is in logic, up here in the green logic box. Are you guys with me on this? You guys have to start paying attention to your color codes. Green is in the green folder, right? Blue, guess where blue is? It's in the blue folder. Edge is a variable, so it's in your variable folder. So I need to duplicate this one. This is going to be my edge -1. This is edge -2. Edge -3. And I put in the appropriate edge, and I put in the appropriate sound to play. Any questions about that? To me, this just makes sense. Does it make sense to you? Okay, it needs to make sense to you because your brain can't program if your brain can't figure it out. You know what I mean? You have to figure out that edge screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, -1, -2, -3, -4. Okay? And then I just tell it, hey, when you hit that edge, is it going to bounce? Yeah, I told it to bounce off that edge, and then I said, okay, play that sound. All right. If you wanted to, you could go text to speech in here, and you could have some fun with text to speech. And you could just go here and get a message box and say, okay, this is edge 1. Edge 1. And you could have Siri speak about which edge you just hit. Okay. This is edge 2. Copy and paste these in there all the way down. Copy and paste all the way down. Remove comment. I don't need a comment in there. Duplicate all the way down. Okay, so this is edge -4. All right, I just type it in there. Edge -3. Edge -2. Edge -1. All right, this is edge 1, 2, edge 3, and edge 4. And okay, so now we need to go ahead and set up our time to play the game, right? Okay. Now, we don't need to start the game at 0. We need to start the game at 60 seconds, right? Remember we put in game time 60? Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my clock game time, and it has a timer on it. Okay. And in my clock game time, remember we set it for whatever milliseconds you set it for. 10, 100, 1,000 is 1 second, right? So if it's on 1,000, then I want it to go in here and take my variable for my game time. Okay, I want to take my game time variable and subtract 1 off of it, right? 60, 59, 58, 57, 56, boom, 0, game over, right? So we'll talk about game over here in a few minutes, what happens when the game ends. But first of all, let's get the time to run. Okay, so I'm going to go do math with this, and I'm going to subtract. And I'm going to say, okay, this is my game time minus 1. And then I just display it in my variable. So I go to my game variable. Okay. Let's set the text of my game variable. And I need a join. So I got to go back to my text join. Go back to my text, get a quote box. And I'm going to say time, colon, space. Why is this not typing? Time, not TY, TIME, colon, space. And I want to put in my variable to display my variable. Game time. Now, if you want, you could go to screen 1, and you could do initializing. When you're initializing, this is when you're starting the game here, right? Okay. So when you start the game, you could go ahead and set your time if you want. So you could do this manually with code. You could set the time interval. Here it is. Set clock time interval to math. And in here you can put 1,000. That's 1,000 milliseconds. Let me comment this. Okay. 1,000 ms, which is milliseconds, is equal to 1 second. Okay. So if I have it set on 1,000 milliseconds, I have it set to run every second. And therefore, every second of time, it would take off another tick of my time. Okay? Now, if I set this clock to be 500, it's going to go 60, 59, 58, 57, 50, it's going to subtract a lot quicker. Are you with me on that? Okay. And then that you could do that. That could be an upgrade for you. If you want to get to different levels, you could have the time run faster. Or you could just give them less time to score. 60, 45 seconds, 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 10. You know, were you with me on that? So you could do that. But that is simply how you run time. Whatever I put in here is what happens. All right. What if I could? Yeah, let me see if I can do that. Yeah, there we go. All right, can you guys still see what that block of code is then? All right. So this is your timer code. If I wanted to constantly move Pac-Man in here, inside of my game, I could say move Pac-Man. Okay? For example, if I did this, and I said, this is just an example, you don't have to do it. If I said move Pac-Man, okay? And then I went to my procedure call, every second of time, it would start to move Pac-Man. So Pac-Man would start to be animated with time. It wouldn't be me controlling it. It would be the time controlling it. Does that make sense? Okay. Have you guys ever played Pac-Man before where the ghosts are you don't control the ghost, right? Who controls the ghost? The timer does. The timer is moving the ghost. Okay. It's all done with timers. So if you got, is there anyone in here interested in game programming? Okay. You need to get used to timers. Study timers as much as you can because almost every video game is controlled by time. Timers run, they're like the engine of a video game. Okay? It's the engine. It runs the game. So this, every second, it would move Pac-Man however I tell Pac-Man to move in here. Are you with me on that? And I could just sit here and write this move Pac-Man if I wanted to. All right, so I want you to understand that this just happens automatically. Once I write this code, it's just going to run, okay? And as long as the clock is running, it will keep doing this, all right? I don't need this here. So let's talk about ending the game, right? If time is running, you want to stop the time at 0, right? Are you guys with me on that? So let's just go do an if block. We can't have time go into negative, right? So I'm going to go get my negative again, or my math, it doesn't matter, okay? If my variable, game time, is equal to 0. What should happen if the game time equals 0? It should stop. So what's making it move right now? The code, right? So first of all, your clock is running, right? So if the clock gets to 0, what should you do to the clock? Stop the clock. So the first thing we need to do is let's stop the clock. So let's go set time interval. Remember we set it to, let me see, there might be a timer enabled and all that in there. Let me just go look. Yeah, there it is. Time enabled is true. Okay. So we don't have to mess with the time interval. So what we want to do here is we just want to go get a logic statement and say, okay, not true. I don't want to do true. I want to do false, right? Timer enabled is false. Turn it off. Remember we studied Boolean expressions. We read about Boolean expressions. What are the two possible choices on Boolean expressions? Yes or no, true or false, or on or off, right? Or 1 or 0. They all kind of mean the same thing. 1's true, 0's false. True is true, false is false. On, off, right? Nora, what's up? Sure, absolutely. So like right here, if the time gets to 0, maybe you have like an explosion sound go off, right? Okay, game over. And maybe you could have an image come up saying game over. You can do whatever you want. It's whatever your brain understands. That's why I'm talking about it right now. You just need to think about problem decomposition. What do I want to happen when the game is over? And that's all you do is you ask yourself that question. What do you want to happen? Do you want to play a sound? Sure. Let's go back here. Okay. And let's put in another sound. Let's go to media. Let's put in another sound, and we will call this sound SND game over, okay? And if you want to upload an explosion off there, then do it, okay? All right? Upload your explosion, download it, and then upload it. Are you guys with me on that? How many people have created their 8 sounds? You have? Did you do it yesterday? Did you actually record 8 sounds? No. Did anyone in here record a sound in Audacity? No, so you need to do that. Or, here's another place you guys could go. You could go to freesound.org. Okay? And this is cool. All you do is you log in. All right. So I would go ahead and log in, and it just asks for your new username and password. No, and I don't know what it is. I forget what it is. Okay. And then you just go to sounds, and so let's say I want an explosion, right? EXPLOSION. Explosion. So it'll go ahead and search an explosion for me. Okay. And then here it is. And you guys may or may not hear this because that's pretty cool. So you get down. There's another one. Uh-oh. It's getting bigger. You could download this, open this up into Audacity, and then you could just take out of this what you want. Probably going to take the last one because the last one sounds pretty huge. Okay, it's kind of cool. It wasn't the coolest explosion I've ever heard. Do you understand what I'm doing here? You would just log in to download this. You would download it, open this up in Audacity, copy out of here what you want. I wouldn't take this whole thing. It's too long. All right, I would get something that's only like, yeah, this is like maybe a second or two long here. So you could have game over there. All right. So here, this is a cool one. Yeah, that's a cool one right there. This one's definitely cooler. Okay, much cooler. Yeah, that's huge. That's really cool. That's like a great bomb there. So I would probably get this one, and then when game over, you could have the explosion go off. Game over. You could have an image come up, say game over. Are you with me? Whatever you want to do. Okay. You could change the background field. I could make, if you want to make the ball disappear. Oh, by the way, I forgot, we didn't stop moving the ball. So what we have to do here is when the clock hits 0, let's go to image sprite. Remember we set its heading and direction, right? So we just want to go to image sprite speed and set its speed to be what? What speed could we give it where it wouldn't move? 0, right? So you just go up here and say, okay, I want your speed ball to be 0. Maybe I would want it to disappear. Maybe we want the ball to, do you guys want the ball to disappear? Okay. So if the game's over and you want the ball to disappear, you go back to the ball. This is up to you. You can do this or not do this. This is up to you. And all you do is go to visible. Anybody see visible in there? Yeah, there it is. So visible, and then you want to go to true or false, and I'm going to say I want it to be false. Okay, now, here's something that I've learned. When you play this game and you turn something off, everybody look up here, this is important. Okay, can I have everybody's eyes, please? You have to remember this because a lot of students don't know, Mr. Richter, my game doesn't work. Look at me. If you turn something off, somewhere in your code, you have to turn it back on. Okay? It may be our fling, right? You may have to fling again. It may be in your initialize phase up here. Okay? Somewhere you have to, so like here, so look at this for a second, right? I made the ball go invisible right here. Does everybody see this one? So tell me, is there anywhere in this code where I'm making the ball visible? Again, no. So once you play this game one time and the clock gets to 0 and this goes invisible, guess what? Right now, if I leave it like this, you would only play the game one time. It would never come back on. Are you with me? So what we'd have to do then is when you fling this ball, of course, if it's invisible, how do you fling the ball? Right, so this is where we need to reset our game. All right, we need to have a reset button in our game. This is why reset buttons are so popular, right? Because if I change the screen and I say game over, I make the ball disappear. Now you need a reset screen to make everything reappear. Are you with me on that? So if you remembered, I remember did we put an accelerometer in here? No, we didn't. Okay, so remember the accelerometer. Let's go to sensors. Let's go to Excel. What are accelerometers good for? We used it in Digital Doodle. What did we use the accelerometer for? Remember we shook it? We shook it and erased the canvas, right? So what we can do now, instead of putting in a button that'll take up room on our screen, right? I'm going to use the accelerometer, which is an invisible, and I'm going to say, okay, when you shake it, right? When you shake it, I want the ball to come back and go to visible. Okay? You shake it, I want the ball to come back up. And then we could reset our time too, right? So we could reset the time to be true. We could reset our time. Let's go get our variable, okay? Hang on, Nora. We could reset our game time to go back to, what did we start at? No. What was the game time set at? 60, right? So we would go back to 60 seconds. And then, remember, anytime you change it, you need to display it. I'm not going to do all that again because I've already done it. Here it is right here. All right? So I'm just going to display the game time. So I'm going to say, okay, the ball becomes visible again. Clock timer starts again. Clock time goes to 60. And then probably I should move these around. These are probably a little bit out of order. Set the clock first to 60 and then start it. Let's go 59, 58, 57 again. All right? The person has to fling the ball to get it to move. You with me? If you don't fling the ball won't move. Even though you shake it, all the shaking is going to do is make the ball reappear. Nora. You could just freeze the ball if that's what you want. You could just stop the ball from moving and game's over. That's fine. There is no really such thing as easier, or not easier. Everything's pretty much the same. It's just a matter of what do you want to do. You are the controller. You are, pardon the pun here, you are the president of your app. Are you with me? You control it. You're the CFO. You are the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer of your app. You get to decide, what do you want to happen? Do you want it to disappear? Do you want it to just stop? Maybe you want it to, like, turn into a chicken. I don't know. Your ball could be going around, and if they don't get so many points, it turns into a chicken. Okay? If the ball's moving around and they do win, maybe it turns into a trophy. You can do whatever you want. Are you with me here? Who understands this? Yeah. Sure. Sure. You can turn it into a hot potato if you want. I don't. You guys ever played the hot potato game? Hot potato, hot potato. Hot potato, hot potato. You could be whatever you want. When I was in Kentucky, I cut out a picture of my head. Okay, it looked like this. Yeah, I'm going to show you. Let's go to my project Lead the Way Kentucky. Here it is, KYPLTW. This is when I was learning how to do this class. There it is. Guess what was flying around the screen, ladies and gentlemen? Guess what was flying around the screen? That was. What's that? Yes, this. I think it's this. What? I do. I don't know if I do or I don't. I think. Okay. Are we good here? Tomorrow I'll show you how to keep score and maybe we'll add players. Is that cool? All right. Happy coding. Watch this video if you missed something, and keep calm and code on.